All right, y'all. Welcome back to Diversified Gentlemen. We're here. We got another guest with us. We got KB, Kedis, the man, the myth.
The legend.
There we go. What I'm talking about. All right, let everybody know who you are.
This is KB, aka Kedis, right? You know, I'm here, born and raised Jamaican, you know, so moved to Connecticut as a teen. Lived with my pops and my stepmom, and then joined the military when I was 22. So ever since, been traveling the world and living a good life.
22. Hold on. So what happened between 18 and 22?
What happened? I kind of like explore life a little bit.
Yeah.
So pretty much working a little odd ends job here, stuff like that. At 21, I was selling cars. I was a car salesman for a little bit, making decent money back in the early 2000s. So I can't complain. You know. But then 9/11 hit. Certain decisions had to be made. You know, business starts slowing down. It was like, okay, well, I've always wanted to serve, so it kind of kicked in right at the same time. So I ended up coming in 2002, joining the Air Force.
Cool.
Yeah. So and here I am, 19 years later. I'm still going strong.
Yeah. For y'all that can't see, we don't have video on right now, but my man is swole.
That's an understatement.
He's swole.
Right.
That's an understatement.
But let's talk about that, man. Let's go back from when you were a kid, when you were younger, to how you are today.
All right, so we can backtrack. So growing up in Jamaica, I used to play soccer, cricket, which is similar. I wouldn't say it's similar to baseball. Some people have to see it. It's like it's a lot more European. You know what I'm saying? Outside of America, they starting a lot more games cricket in the U.S. now. But back in the day, that's not something you would even.
I know it's big in like India and Pakistan.
India, Pakistan. It's just overseas,
India,
right? So if you get outside the U.S., you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
It's just the U.S. that don't have that. It's just kind of locked in. So I used to play that and stuff like that. So I was a skinny kid growing up, right? Always athletic, playing soccer, running track, doing whatever, eating whatever I want, do whatever I want, not have to worry about it, genetics, the good stuff about it. But as I got older, being in the military, I was like, well, okay, free weights, I can lift. Started lifting, but I wasn't really committed. I would just go in the gym here and there, I'd lift, but I'd play basketball. Most of the time I play basketball. 3-4 hours, I'm in there playing ball, so I was still skinny. And if you ask most of my friends, they'll tell you, hey, this boy was like $190 soaking wet. You know, but in 2011, I was stationed in Ramstein. One of my good friends, I put him on here, Sid Lindsay. And if you ever get a chance to look him up,
I know Sid.
He a monster.
He's up.
Really?
Like, you think I'm big?
Sid is a different.
Like I ain't lifting.
You know, what's that cat? Simeon Panda.
Yep.
He's on that level.
Yeah, they competed.
Bro,
so
he's on that level.
That's
bro.
that level Sid is. That's that.
Yes.
He's a professional bodybuilder,
Okay.
stuff like that. So he's that level, right? Being in the military, you're like, dude, we need to test you, but you know.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, what are you eating in the chow?
What you eating in the chow, right?
Chicken don't do that, bro.
So during my deployments, he was like, hey, there's a competition coming up. Won't you go ahead and train for it? Me, I have no clue about dieting, no clue about eating right, working out, nothing. I just go in and lift and keep it moving. So I was deployed to Kuwait, started, I used to do a lot of cardio, whether I'm teaching a class or I'm working out. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of cardio, a lot of activities. Now I said, let me scale back on that. Because I had the mindset and the knowledge knowing, hey, if you want to put on weight, you got to reduce the cardio. So I said, let me scale back on that. And I just started lifting. And I went from being 196, came back from my deployment, I was 211.
Wow.
Just looking swole, looking like I got stung by a bee or something. Just really swole. So I was like, all right, cool, okay. And I came back, I started training, dieting a little bit more, and I did the show. And I took first place in my class. And I was like, oh.
Your first show?
Yeah, first show, I was like, oh. But it was an amateur / military show.
Okay.
So amongst my peers / military members, I was like, oh, okay. I feel a little swole. I was like, all right, cool. So after that, I started keeping it going. So I used to play like varsity basketball. I used to play pickup ball all the time. Once I started zoning in on my fitness side of the house, I realized, okay, doing all these sports will never get me to a pro level. If I go fitness world, I can become a professional bodybuilder or professional athlete in a sense. So I said, you know what, let me focus. Let me scale back on everything else and start doing that. Ever since then, I ain't ever looked back.
Yeah, really.
Right? A lot of time cats pull up in the gym like, hey, we about to play ball. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go lift.
Wow. So that show I saw you in Germany, that was your second or third show?
It was my second.
Your second show?
Yeah, that was my second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember
So,
that.
like I said, it was a while back, but as I started doing more shows, I started doing my research, started reading up on dieting, started actually looking into like, okay, what is it my body needs to perform versus let me just eat whatever. Right? Because a lot of people have that notion as I'm gonna eat whatever because I'm
just live.
You gonna outwork? Yeah, you gonna outwork the diet,
right? And so y'all know, y'all can't see my face, but you can never outwork a bad diet, right? Just listen, you cannot outwork a bad diet. So don't think, your genetics and all that stuff, it may work for a little bit, but your genetics gonna catch up to you. It's gonna catch up. Your metabolism gonna slow down, stuff like that. Then you're gonna start putting on that size, that weight, and all that stuff, and you're gonna wonder where it came from. Because you be like, I'm in the gym 6 hours a day, don't mean nothing. Because you come out the gym, you burn 500 calories, but you go eat 1,000. You're gonna put the weight back on.
Swole with a 6-pack and diabetes.
No, you don't even have a 6-pack.
Right.
You swole.
Diabetes.
So after I started doing that, that's when I started seeing results, and it started clicking more. So it gets addictive, right? When you can see your body transform into a certain sculpture, you be like, oh, wait, that's me. I want more of that, right? And then obviously, like anybody else, you start hearing people telling you, hey man, you looking good, you doing this, confidence gonna boost, you gonna feel, so you're like, oh, I'm definitely gonna stick to this, so ever since I've just been doing that. So I would say I've been in the fitness world, started doing serious fitness stuff since 2011.
So 10 years.
Yeah,
So solid decade.
Solid 10, just consistency.
So let's talk about the actual shows, because I did my first show a couple of years ago.
I saw you was prepping for that.
Yeah, man.
I saw you was prepping for that.
It was crazy.
Show?
It was men's physique. Yeah, and what I tell people is like the experience is like no other, man. It's a competition, but everyone is kind of there, like helping each other out. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have food, I got you. If you ain't got bands, I'm gonna help you get bands. You know, you can use my bands. Like the environment is so friendly and cohesive that it doesn't even feel like a competition.
Yeah, and I would agree. I can elaborate a little bit more. So when it comes to like competition itself, when you're doing bodybuilding, men's physique, figure, bikini for the women's side of the house, it's more so once you get into that world, there is no. It's an individual event because when you get on stage, it's just you.
Yeah.
There's nobody else holding you in the back. There's nobody else trying to make you look good. Once you get on stage, that's you.
Yep.
You got to show off your best physique to the judges, right? But in the background, in the back scenes, right, you have your coach. But you also have other competitors that's around that are trying to win, right? But it's not a shiesty where they like, look, I don't care about you, it's just me. So whatever, you know what I'm saying? No, we look out for each other, you take care of each other, stuff like that. It takes out all that negativity. So when you go, if you ever decide to compete, and you're like, oh man, some people gonna be looking better than me, some people gonna look worse, but you're gonna have that, right? Yeah. But most people don't see it that way, right? Like this is the one spot, and I will say it amongst all the brothers right now, right? Or my fellas, you know what I'm saying? When you go there, if you were homophobic, that goes out the window.
Gone.
For sure.
Gone.
Yeah.
Because most people you wonder how that is that related. Because think about it, you walk around, if you're doing bodybuilding, you got the posing trunks on, right? You damn near butt naked. But if there's a guy there, you're like, hey man, can you put some tan on my back? Right? They're not gonna be like, nah, bro, I'm cool. No, they got you. All right, cool, got you. Because they want you to shine just like everybody else. They want you to get on stage and do your thing, right? Because it's competitive, right? If you're competitive, you want to see everybody bring their best game. That way, when you win, there is no, I was holding water or I was this. No, everybody brought their A game. I'm the best of the best. And it's bragging rights. It makes you feel, you know what I'm saying, it's that boost, that ego, confidence. It'll make you feel even better because you're like, hey, I went into a show, 50 guys, and I came out first. I'm on top. Y'all can't tell me nothing.
Right.
You know, it's like it gives you that natural high. You want to do it again. You know what I mean? So that's when you get on stage, you just want to know. And the same thing for females. You'd be surprised where you would think male in a room and female in the same room, but they half naked. It's gonna be.
You don't see it as that.
You're gonna see more. You don't see it as that at all. When you in that room, you see him as a competitor. They're posing and whatever. You probably critique like, hey, you might want to do this, or you might want to do, or you look good. You compliment, you do stuff like that. But there's no harassment going on. You know what I'm saying? You take that part out of it. You know, so for those out there that thinking about competing, but they're more shy or self-conscious about certain things, you can put that out the window. Because when you get into that realm or that field, there's people there that's going to help you out. You might have total strangers. And by the time you finish that show, you walk away with like 15 people that you like, oh man, we can communicate and stuff like that. You meet, you network. You start meeting people that can help you out and get you better and stuff like that. So once I started doing the fitness world, I was like, man, I ain't looking back.
Yeah, you've been in for a while, man, doing everything.
I gave up basketball.
That commitment is serious.
Yes,
but
I
will say, you talking about basketball, I hated you, dude. Because I'm a ball player, so I'm in decent shape, athletic shape, but I'm not on the bodybuilding level. But man, I'll be like, hey, y'all want to run? Nah, man, I'm going to hit.
About to go left.
Like, bro,
like we just need one. We just need one.
Can I get one for the game? Nah, man, I'm cool on that.
See, pre-weightlifting, basketball was it. Like you said, hey, let's play ball. I'm in there 4 hours straight, right? Especially you get a team and you can run. You run the whole court for the whole day. Look, you can't tell me nothing, right? But once I start doing weightlifting, I learned that a lot of cardio and bodybuilding is not. They don't match, right? Yes, you need cardio because you want to keep your cardio, endurance going. You want to get your heart pumping and stuff like that, and it also helps with dropping weight. But at the same time, you don't want to burn too much calories because you're gonna lose muscle mass.
I think it's actually deeper than that. I think it's
break it down.
But I think it's deeper than that, man. I think it's not just about cardio. I think it's dedication and commitment.
Yes.
So just like in anything in life, it's like I had this goal, and a bad chick walking, a woman, and now boom, you distracted. Because think about how many relationships, when people get a divorce or break up, like, dang, I could have had my degree, but I was focused on this person, you know what I mean? Or think about even financial goals. I was on track for this, but I took this trip, or I bought this car, and it just derailed everything. But you like, nah, I'm trying to be great in this. I'm trying to, for instance, like being in college, I want this degree. Partying is going to derail me from that accomplishment. So you locked in, dedicated. Basketball doesn't help me towards this goal. I'm in. For instance, like Kobe, they said he wasn't a great teammate because he didn't connect. Because everybody after practice was going to the clubs and this and that. He was in the gym. He was getting rest because his goal was to be the greatest. Yeah. And he would say, "How does going to the club make me great? Yeah. How does hanging out makes me great? Yeah, y'all need to be in the gym with me, trying to be great,
trying to get better.
So it's a commitment, it's dedication.
It's a commitment, consistency, and dedication, right?
Consistency also.
Right. Yeah. You got to stay committed to see it through, right? Because you're not gonna have a good day every day, right? When you start dealing with fitness, it's always like you just said, a lot of different things pop in, right? We're human. Life's gonna kick in. Certain things come up, especially if you got a job that you got 9 to 5, but sometimes they ask you to stay late. Being in the military, we already know. There is a 24/7 ops. There's no, you 9 to 5, the rest of the day is yours. No. 8 o'clock at night, you're getting a phone call, right? When you're supposed to be resting, trying to get up at 04 in the morning to get to the gym, right? So you're gonna have to sacrifice. You got to stay committed, right? Because you want to see a certain result. So some people have vision boards. Some people have certain things you put up. Say, hey, this is my goal. That's where I'm trying to get to, and I have a certain time to get there. How I'm gonna get there. So you gotta pretty much stay consistent, right? And you wanna make sure you get up early in the morning, hit the gym, you meal prepping, sticking to your meals, right? But that doesn't mean that you isolate yourself from the work.
Right, you gotta live a little bit.
Some people take it to that extreme where they be like, nope, I'm done, I'm not going out, I'm not hanging out with this, but you can still do it, you just have to be mindful of what you're doing.
So I like the meal prep and what was the other thing you said before meal prep?
Oh, you're talking about getting up early in the gym and stuff like that?
So getting up early and going to the gym, that's critical because you get up early, you go to the gym, and now no matter what happens in that day, you've checked that off.
You already checked that off the block.
Meal prep, people, and I know, I'm speaking from experience, they fall off their diet because you have this plan in your head as to what you want to do, but you start getting them hunger pains. And now you like, where's them chips at? But it's
snacks and stuff,
easy, quick stuff.
If you have your grilled chicken right next to you and your veggies, boom, pop this out. If you got your gallon of water right there, let me take a couple of jugs because it's mental, right? And just like anything in life, it's like when you have that your gas tanks on E, and you drive past a gas station going home, like I'm gonna get gas in the morning. And then you running late, like damn, now in your head, like
so never get through that. I should have.
It's my shoot. Do I got enough gas to make it to work? Because I can't be late to work again. Yeah. But when you have that plan to and prepare and basically cut out the excuses, that's where the consistency comes in. Because everyone has good intentions. Until you're tired, till you're hungry, till you got to work late, till that spouse telling you, I need you to do A, B, C, and D before you come home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a lot of factors gonna kick in, right? That's like reality. It's gonna kick in.
But you got to plan for that.
Exactly.
So you can cut out the excuses.
So you don't make excuses. There's two things I always go with, right? The first one is something I learned when I was getting ready to do my first little deployment. It was an Army thing, right? Stay ready, you gotta get ready.
Yeah.
Right? What that simply mean is, if you're staying in the gym, you're working out, you're doing what you have to do, you ain't got to worry about trying to get ready for it because you're doing it's consistency. It's a lifestyle.
Right.
It's something you do on a regular. So it's nothing new. You may have to tweak it here and there, but it's nothing new. Just like for us, and I'm taking to anybody listening military-wise out there at the same time, when it comes to us PT testing, right? A lot
2
of
months
people,
out, getting
I've
ready.
seen it, not even 2 months. I've seen people 2 weeks, a week out. I'm like, hey, I need to drop 4 inches in my waist. What can I do? Right? And I'm like, well, I can pray for you. Right? Because in a sense, I can give you certain tricks of the trade that you can do to try to shrink your waist for that small time period, but it's not permanent, right? Because the moment you drink some water or something like that, it comes right back, right? But if you were staying ready throughout the time, I'm not telling you to go 100 every day, but you 3-4 times a week, you're working out 30-45 minutes a day, you're doing your thing, staying active. When the time comes, you just apply a little bit more pressure, you're good to go. Most people wait to the last minute. Then they be like, oh man, I'm overweight by this or I'm this, can you help me out? And not trying to be a bad guy, but at the same time being realistic, I'm like, there's nothing I can do to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's on you, right? Because the individual effort, you just didn't put the max effort in before. So you're not staying ready, so you're being reactive versus proactive when it comes to that part of it, right?
Right.
And then the next thing for me is when it comes to my fitness side of the house, right? Like we talked about consistency, being committed, and dedicated to their craft or whatever you're doing. For me, it's like, it don't matter what I'm doing or who I'm with or whatever the case may be. If you know you got to go, stick to it, right? Don't succumb to peer pressure. Because your friends they're gonna hit you with that peer pressure. Hey man, let's go out and drink. Hey man, I want some wings. Let's get these wings. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, cool. You can say, hey, we can hang out. But while you drink,
Bro, when we went to remember with the kids, the junkies? The first time I met
the
them,
dude came in here with a meal.
They came and gave us the pizza and the fries.
Yeah.
What was the kid play when the kids run around in the big old?
what was it called? The place.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
too. 'Cause
and
my son,
you
he was trying to go
pulled
with that
out
little-
some damn
This dude pulled out a meal.
boneless, skinless,
chicken
Some
breast,
chicken breast and
and
some
some
broccoli or something.
Right.
and we eating pizza, and I'm looking like, whose man's is this?
And that's
They got a show coming up.
Chuck E. Cheese.
No,
it wasn't
a German. It was a German.
So basically, it's like the German version
Yeah.
of Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
But it's just like super it's chicken nuggets, fries, and pizza.
just a
And
regular-
when it came to the table, this bag magically appeared. He popped open some Tupperware.
Man had a meal in
It
it.
had like the chicken was already cut. It was chicken breast and like broccoli. And I'm looking around like, who's
man?
who bought this right here? Like,
Yeah.
dude is allergic to pizza.
And that's where it comes to that dedication side.
Yeah.
Right? You have to dedicate to what you have to do. So it don't matter who's around, what is doing, or what like same like we right here, right? You got friends. They gonna talk trash no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you eating healthy or you eating bad, they're gonna give you the business.
Right.
Right? But it's almost you gotta make that conscious decision and say, okay, look, I need a 6-pack. Right? Plus I'm training for a competition. So it don't matter what it is, I'm not gonna get derailed because of it. Right?
Yeah.
Plus I'm not there for me. We were there for the kids. It wasn't
Right.
for me. So pizza wasn't really for me. I had my meals ready because I had to stay dedicated throughout the day. Like, okay, I need to eat 6 meals a day.
Right.
Every 2 hours. All right. Okay, it's that time. Got my alarm set. It's going off. That means it's meal time. Right. Now, most people may find this weird. Right. Can you eat cold food?
I can.
Yeah, I can now.
Can you eat a cold? Well, you should be able to. You
I
compete.
can now.
Yeah, can you eat a cold meal? Right.
You get used to it.
Right? Absolutely not.
Look, you can't until you get put in that position.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying now? For me, I made that decision. It's like, look, whether it's cold or hot,
Yeah.
it's about to get eaten, right? Because I wasn't eating because I wanted to eat. I was eating because I needed nutrients.
Literally
Right?
Eating for a purpose.
I was eating for a purpose. I was like,
Right.
okay, I need to get my protein source in, I need to get my carbs, and I need to get my, you know what I'm saying? So when I was eating, I was like, okay, I need to get these calories in. Because I know I'm going to need it later on, or I know the benefits of
And
it.
that's great because like you said, it's gonna look weird. People like man, like me,
Yeah.
But it's like you know your goals. I don't know your goals.
Exactly.
And even if I did, you know, your goals are your goals.
You probably
For
wouldn't
instance,
understand it.
Yeah, when I was an airman in the dorms, I was taking 2 classes at a time. You know, people like, yo, let's play cards, let's do this and that. No gotta go to class. Bro, you go to class every day just for one night, man. Just what I can't do that.
Exactly.
I gotta go to
You
class.
have your priorities.
I go to class.
When you have your priorities set, it doesn't matter. Now, like I said, this you can tie the dedication and commitment to whatever. Like you just said earlier, life.
Yep.
It don't matter what you're doing. If you say, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to work on this, this, and this, right? Then you dedicate your time to it, right? You don't wait because somebody say, oh man, you're not going to survive or you're not going to do this. Don't listen, right? Because 9 times out of 10, once you become successful, those very same naysayers going to come back to you like, man, what did you do?
Yep.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always tell folks too, when you're trying to build dedication like that, you got to build small habits that lead to dedication.
Yeah.
Small things you do every single day. Like Reese is real good at this. That fool gonna be up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Yeah.
I know I can call him at 5:30 in the morning. He's gonna be up because he sets his alarm at a certain time, and every day he sets that same thing. And same thing for you when you're fitness. Every day you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know you got to be consistent with that to build that routine, to build a dedication. It's not you can't just say mentally, I got dedication today.
No.
It's your habits that build
It's,
that.
it's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's a part of your lifestyle. So now it's not even because you got certain things where you're like, man, it feels like a chore, right? But when you make it a lifestyle, it's not a chore. It's something you like to do, something that is just natural. You get up, you be like, oh, I got to get up and get to the gym, right?
And
You
start
get to the
small.
gym, it feels like you're a crackhead. You in withdrawals. You be like, oh,
I missed the gym
I
today.
ain't in the gym today, man. I done lost all my games, and then somebody looking at you like, "What games you talking about?" Lost.
Yeah.
Like you still big as hell.
Yeah.
You know, but it's mental,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a lifestyle. You tell yourself the same thing. Same thing with school, right? You be like, "Man, I ain't get to study today. Damn, I might not make that pass that test." Granted, you know the topic. It's just that mentality that you're like, "Okay, I need to get this. I need to get my bachelor's, my master's. I'm focused."
That's when you go on a mission. Even thing with the same thing with finance. When you know you got a track and you're like, I just spent $500 on it. So you'll lose sleep. You probably lost sleep. Like, bro, I didn't go. I can't believe I ate a whole pizza. That set me back a damn week.
You like, man, pizza,
Man,
right?
cookies.
You probably and
Oh, trust me, you're right. I have lost
yeah.
sleep because I was like, man, I had a
this set me
treat
back.
meal, but it went up to be a treat day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoo, I can't
Been
even
there.
tell my coach.
I remember
You know?
you told me that I was talking about cheat meals, and you said, no, man, you gotta think of it as a treat meal. You know what I'm saying? You gotta change your thought on the way, because you know we're all human. So when you say cheat, it's like you're doing something dirty or naughty, but it's like as a treat, like you're rewarding yourself with this dedication, and then boom, you get back on track. And you know, I thought that was cool. But
And that's how I look at it,
like
because majority of the time, think about it as a treat meal, not a cheat meal. Most people say cheat meal because it's a dirty meal. Right? But it's not necessarily that case, because let's say you say, okay, 3 days out of the week I ate clean. Like breakfast, lunch, dinner, my snacks in between, everything was perfect, right? You didn't deviate from that, right? Now you say, okay, I want a treat meal. What I always tell people that I'm helping out or whatever the case may say, okay, pick one meal, whether it's breakfast, your lunch, or your dinner, and you're gonna make that your treat. That means whatever you want. Just like a kid, they went to school, they were good all week or all year, they had perfect grades, they did everything. Now you give them a treat, you give them a reward, right? They're gonna be in a happy place, everything like that means they want to do it more, right? So for some people that are trying to get into a healthy diet, treat yourself, right? Once a week. And I would say once a week. I normally do every 3 days, right? And after a while, you start scaling back to where every 4 or once a week. Because after a while, you're so used to the healthy meals, you don't really need to treat them.
Right.
I think that pertains to like a lot of stuff, like even relationships. If you've been a good husband for 10 years, it's like, I didn't cheat on my wife, I treated her.
Where? Look, I don't know if that's gonna work too much.
Hey, that's the
I
what? I didn't cheat on my wife. I treated on myself.
I treated myself for being good. I hear you on that, but at the same time, look, if she cut your head off,
All right.
that was her treating herself.
Oh no. Yep. That was it. So it don't work like that. So another thing, we all know your ex, Renee,
Yes.
and you know she was a beast with the competition
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Beast,
So that goes into when you have goals like that, lofty goals, having that circle of like-minded individuals. And if you can find a spouse or a mate, and you go home, because it would have been hard for you to be at the gym as much as you were, or having a diet, and that person's, you know, bringing you spaghetti every night. That person's, you know, making you make whatever your favorite meal is. That person's putting it in your face or complaining about you being at the gym all the time.
I say that a lot, right? And I've seen it, right? I've seen it a lot since I've been in the fitness industry. Especially like, for instance, we most know each other from Rhinestone, right? I was there for a while. I've seen a lot of guys that were dedicated to working out and lifting and getting their health back on track. Mm-hmm. And they had to stop because their spouse were giving them hell, right? Because their spouse is not into the gym, they're not into working out and stuff like that, so they always complain. Why are you in the gym this long? Why are you in the gym this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And you can only take it so long.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, after a while, you be like, you know what? Do I want to keep my marriage?
Exactly.
Do I want to do this? So you sacrifice. So you give up your health to keep your marriage, right? And the same thing for me, like you were just saying, like when you have someone that's in your corner, that has your back, man, you conquer the world, right? And it like we're talking about fitness, but you can tie this into anything,
Correct.
right? You know, because if you're in school and you got someone that's supporting you, like, hey, babe, did you study? Hey, did you do this? Did you do that? You know, you're gonna want to do more, right?
Or
Those
if you're a
affirmations.
financer, you're trying to get in a great financial situation, but your spouse is spending everything that's
Oh,
coming in.
So
Don't wanna say-
we can all attest to that because we've seen that plenty of times where spouses are like, when you turn around, you be like for instance, I would use like Army guys as an example, right? I've seen plenty of Army guys back in the day when they used to have the 15 months deployment. They deploy for 15 months. That's a lot of tax-free money.
Yeah.
But then they come back and their bank account is zero.
Yeah.
Because the spouse was spending it on.
It's like you're digging yourself out of the hole and someone got the
Put you back
behind
in.
you with the
Right.
best
Cracking the
sand,
barrel.
putting
They
it back
hold you
in.
back down, right?
And you like, why not making
You know,
progress?
so
You
you're
look
not-
back like, oh wait.
Exactly. But if you have that spouse or that significant other that has your back, you're trying to save. They be like, hey babe, look, we got the budget, we got this. Look, I saw that you was trying to order this. No, we can't get that. We can't afford it.
And they understand it, like
And they
you know what?
understand.
Because it's not your goal, it's y'all goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
It's the couple's goal, it's the family's goal.
And then because you got to look, generational wealth don't build itself. You got to work on it, right? So if you don't start now, like for protecting your investment, doing this, saving money, paying off debt and stuff like that, especially together, you're gonna have issue because if one is keep accumulating debt and the other is paying one, then you always gonna have issue, and that might even lead to breakup.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually what it does. That's the number one cause of divorce.
Yeah.
Is finances.
And the same thing with fitness, you know what I'm saying? When one person trying to stay healthy or get healthy, and the opposite person is like, nah, I want to eat ribs, I want this, I want that.
Right.
You can never get ready.
It's not a balance,
Because now you wanna be a team player because you want to make sure your spouse or your it's all in one, right? But if they're doing one thing and you're one way, eventually that's not gonna match.
Yep.
You're gonna have to give up something. All right, you're gonna give up them, which we know that's not gonna happen because majority of the time, if you're a family man, if you're dealing with your family, you're gonna stick there. You're gonna be like, you know what? All right, babe, you win. I'm gonna scale back on the gym. I'm gonna stop doing this. Let's focus on this.
Right.
But that's when you get creative for the gym because it's like, all right, cool. I know your spouse ain't up at very few spouses are up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Your kids ain't up at 5 or 6. Go work out before them, and now you don't have,
But you also got to be mindful though, right? Because if you have a jealous spouse, you get up at 4 in the morning going somewhere, they're gonna be like, "Where you going?
Where you
going? Even though you going to the gym,
Or you can create a home. You can create a home gym. You can create a home gym. You can do insanity, max 30.
But look, if you doing all that, you probably need to evaluate your whole situation.
True, but then I'm just going by what I've seen.
I know it happened.
Where you getting up early going? What you doing? I'm like, I'm going to the gym. You can be more than welcome to come with me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but
you gotta think about it this way, too. If you look really good, because aesthetically, there's gonna be some jealousy if somebody's insecure.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. You got 6-pack abs, and you're going to the gym. Who's gonna be at the gym? Other people that are fitness minded, and that person you're with is not fitness minded. They're gonna have some jealousies and insecurities. They're like, where you going and working out with who? Who's seeing you? I can't be there. I'm not to your level. I can see the insecurity coming out of that.
It kicks in.
You know what I mean?
It kicks in. That's what I say. You have your spouse. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a conversation.
Right? And it's not just male. It's females as well. Because if a female is in the gym working out, doing her thing, and the male just like, I don't want to do nothing like that. you're gonna have that animosity, that jealousy kicking in because she's going to the gym, get her spot on, doing stuff like that, and you be like, well, who are them buff dudes you in there looking at you and stuff, and you be like, bruh, I'm working out.
I'm
coming home to you.
No, you're not.
Nah, XYZ. So that's why I applaud everybody that if your spouse is doing something, support it.
Yeah. You ever done like personal training?
So I did personal training.
Okay.
I've done personal training. I've done personal training, both male and female.
Okay.
Right? I do meal plans. I've created meal plans for both male and females as well, especially on their goals and what they're looking for. When it comes to personal training, right, you have some males that will definitely come with guys, right? They kind of, and this is where like that woman is kick in, right? They be like, I don't want a female trainer because I don't think they're gonna push me enough or whatever the case. Which is never the case because sometimes women are more crazy than men when it comes to training, right? But then at the same time, women sometimes tend to gravitate towards men because they figure they get pushed harder, right? Now, the one thing I will tell you, as a trainer, don't train your spouse.
I can imagine, yeah.
And the only reason why I say don't train your spouse is the fact that you're going to give in.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go home and see her or see him later on. So you argue and you do all that stuff, they're going to bring it back up later. So you be like, you know what, fine. You don't want to do an extra rep? Cool, whatever. Let's move on. Right?
Yeah,
but
you don't do that.
right? But at the same time, it's like, for me, I always push this out. And you'll see the stigma out there, right? Do not mix business and pleasure, right? So if you're training someone, a female, if she looks like Holly Berry, it don't matter, right? When you're training a person, you keep it professional. You don't mix business and pleasure.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because it's gonna mess up, especially if that's your livelihood, it's gonna mess up your money. Because if something don't work out, now you lost a client.
It's like the biggest 10 crack commandments. Never have your own supply.
Exactly, right? So you never mess with your client because you're gonna mess up something some way, shape, or form. Right? Take care of them, treat them with professional respect, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And you go from there. That's how you build clients. That's how you provide quality service, people will come back. Don't just give them bullshit like, oh, well, we'll go do this, and you don't have a plan. Then they look at you like, man, you a joke. I'm not coming back. I'm like, I'm gonna find somebody else, and now you just lost a client. Then they're gonna tell somebody else. Word of mouth is the worst. It could be the best advertisement. It could be worse.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to tell people, okay, look, I'm gonna mind my business, take care of business, even if the person you're training is flirting, right? You can professionally deflect and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in a committed relationship, you're in a relationship, stuff like that. You'd be like, hey, I'm cool, I'm good. All right, cool. Sometimes you just deflect. Like, and they'd be like, oh man, you so handsome. Oh, thank you. All right, cool. You got 5 more reps.
Let's get this work in.
It's working, and then keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep it moving, stuff like that, because you know what you're there for, your goals. That person's goals, you keep it, hold them accountable.
Right.
And then go from there, especially when you're training or you're doing meal plans and stuff like that. Don't get bullshit or copy somebody else's plan and give it to somebody else. Be like, hey, here you go work out. 2 people don't have the same genetic breakdown, right? What works for him, not gonna work for you. You know, different build, different mindset, different goals. He might be like, I just want to be toned, lean. This person like, I want to get jacked.
Right.
If you give him the same workout, then he gonna get jacked. He'd be like, bro, this is not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And you be like, oh, well, my bad. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of what you're doing, especially when you train. You know, and it ties in. We'll kick into it. Ties into pretty much diet.
I'm going to that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ties into your diet, right? We talked about it earlier. You can never out-train a bad diet, right? So when you come to your diet, you always want to have a plan. Right?
So what's your meal prep plan? KB meals.
KB meals.
Yeah,
KB
so-
lean. KB lean.
So-
KB lean meal.
So when a client reaches out to you,
Yes.
like what do you look for? What conversations do you have?
So majority of the time, like right now, so it breaks down in different ways, right? So KB lean is more so like a generic plan, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm giving you a healthier choice, right? Also, it helps out for folks that are too busy and they can't prep, but they want to start staying on track to a sense. So I offer healthy choices. So I kind of have a generic saying, okay, cool, you'll get 4 ounces of fish, 3 ounces of
And
this.
you actually make it for them.
Yep.
Oh, you're the chef. You actually in there cooking and stuff.
So disclaimer. I ain't no chef, but I can handle my business. I can feed you.
Yeah. Right.
But no. So what I do is I actually push out a menu, right? And whoever is looking, they'll get the menu. It has options, right? It has the protein choices, you pick. It has the carb choices, you pick. But it's healthy choices. Whether it's like quinoa, brown rice, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So people are like, oh, it's still a healthy choice. And then you have your vegetable source. You pick all 3, you lay it out, you say, hey, here's what I want. The rest I take care of. I go meal. I buy the meal. I do the grocery. I meal prep, like clean, prep everything like that. Cook it. Then I turn around and measure it out. That way you're getting the right amounts. I'm not just slapping something in the containers and be like, here you go, right? My normal standard would be like, okay, you get 4 ounces of this, 4 ounces of like protein, carbs, and then you get a cup of vegetables, right? Kind of generic, right? But if someone reached out to me and say, hey, I have a competition coming up, here's exactly what I need, then I would take their menu or their meal plan, and I will pretty much prep the meal based off their plan. Because a woman may say, okay, I need 3 ounces of chicken, 3 ounces of this, 3 ounces of that, versus the 4, because they are on a strict calorie intake. So I can't just give them a generic one because they're on a strict one. You see what I'm saying? Because if I give them a generic and they say, okay, your intake is 1,500 calories a day, but mine that I would give you is 18. That means you're taking 300 more calories than you're supposed to, based on your competition prep.
And it doesn't sound like a lot, but that...
Yeah, it don't sound like that, but it's a big effect.
It's a big effect.
So you keep it pretty local then. Meals kind of fresh.
Yeah, so meals are fresh. So my meals are fresh. When you order it, you get it fresh. It's not something that I make and it's sitting in the oven, in the refrigerator for a week. Right. I should know. It's fresh. So I try to keep it local. I didn't make it to where it's like shipment-wise, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because right now it's just me, right? So it's supply and demand. So the demand will definitely outweigh what I can supply. Right. Because if I had started doing internet and all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna ship it to you, then I'm
so you're hiring chefs?
I would have to hire, right? I would have to hire and show them how to do it, make sure.
CJ,
we'll make it work. That's the future planning, right? We'll make it work. But it just comes down to pretty much understanding like what your intakes are versus your output.
Got it.
So if you have people out there that say, hey, I'm struggling with losing weight, unless it's a medical condition, like if it's a thyroid issue or you have certain things where it's not allowing you to lose weight, right? It's more so a personal issue, right?
So you mean like calorie deficit?
Deficit, right?
Caloric deficit.
Versus a surplus, right? And most people are like, well, I don't know what the hell that is.
Right.
Deficit is just meaning what you burn versus what you intake, right? You intake less than what you burn. That means you're in a deficit. That's going to allow you to lose weight. If you're in a surplus, right, it means you're going to gain weight. Yeah. And that's where the overeating, or that's where, like, for instance, if you go to McDonald's, and I use that as an example, you say, okay, let me get like one of those McGriddle breakfast sandwiches, right? That, some fries, and a drink, that's going to put you, amen.
That's it right here, boy.
Right? That's going to put you at like, at least over 8,000 calories already for just that one meal. Just that one meal, right? You eat it, you're full for that moment, but then it's going to pass through and you're going to be like, I'm hungry again, right? But it's not helping you out. Because if you're supposed to take in 1,500 calories for the day and you just eat that, you only got less than 500 calories left for the whole day.
And there's no nutrients in it.
And there's no nutrients. Because if you go to McDonald's, and I'm not knocking McDonald's because the fries are good, but if you get that, now you're taking a lot more saturated fat, right? Processed, right? So you want to avoid most of the saturated stuff. Trans and saturated, you see that on anything, you avoid it. Especially trans fat. If you see something that says I have this much trans fat, just put it down, don't even eat it, right? Saturated fat, certain amount you can deal with. You want to look for poly and monosaturated fat. Those are the two healthy fats that you want. That's when you go to like avocados,
olive oil,
nuts, olive oil. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And even, we always hear it, coconut oil. Next time you look at the coconut oil content. It's not the healthiest oil for you.
I actually read something on that
recently. You'll hear it a lot, like healthy oils, but if you look at it, it's not the healthiest oil for you.
Yeah.
Which is?
Right? No, I'm just saying, if you avoid coconut, but you can go
olive oil.
Avocado oil.
Because I thought some people like take a spoonful of coconut oil just to be satiated.
That's castor. Thought that was castor oil.
No, that's
coconut oil.
Coconut?
So people will do, but that's what I'm saying. But if you look at like
cider,
if you look at actual like the caloric breakdown of it, the nutrition's in it, it's a little bit more higher in saturated fat than it is mono and poly.
Okay.
That's why I say sometimes it tastes good, make the food taste good, especially you get coconut shrimp. You know what I'm saying?
Coconut oil and popcorn.
Right? So it tastes good. So you just have to be mindful of it.
Okay.
But if you're gonna eat like avocados, that's why certain things. Salmon, that's a very high source of fat for it because it's packed with omega-3. But you got to be mindful of it. You can't eat 5 meals of salmon all day because then you're taking in too much fat.
Right.
It's healthy, but it's too much because your body don't. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, most people hear the term macros.
Yeah.
Right? What is your macros? What's your macros? What's your macros? Everybody, some people might not like, man, macros? What are you talking about? I just eat.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not the case. Somebody asks you what your macros is. They say, okay, how much protein, how much carbs, and how much fats are you taking in? That's pretty much what they're asking. Right? And they be like, what's your split? Right? So you have different splits. Well, on a national standard, internationally, really, 50% of your calorie source should be coming from carbohydrates. Right? Energy. Because you need that to survive throughout the day. You need that to move, work out, do whatever you're doing, energy, right? Then you want to do about at least 30% protein and about 20 fats.
Yeah, so not carbs like, bread, white
bread.
bread.
So and then there's two types of carbs.
Yeah, you get the simple, complex.
You got simple and you got a complex. Yeah. For everybody, even out there listening, look up complex carbohydrates. Right. That's what you need more of than the simple. Yep. The only reason being is complex carbohydrates, it breaks down slower. So your metabolism has to work more to break it down. Right? Fibrous. Right? And we already know the body needs fiber. Especially when you want to be regular. Right? So you want to make sure you get more fibrous stuff. So that's what you always have to look at. Now, give you a list of that, I would say Google is your friend.
Yes.
You type in Google and say, hey, there's a Google complex carbohydrates list. Or a list of that, and it'll give you so much, you'll be like, all right, let me just pick a few.
Yep.
But that's how you can design your own plan, because you can pick it and say, well, I don't want sweet potatoes today. I want brown rice. I want some quinoa. I want this. So you get variety, so you don't get bored with the same thing over and over and over.
So for those that are competing, they just want to live a healthy lifestyle. Should they really care about their macros? Or just...
I wouldn't say macros. Actually, I wouldn't say macros. You don't have to worry about the macros. You just want to worry about your intake.
Okay.
And what you're eating, right? So if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you just have to worry about I always tell people eat more often, small portions, right? But you need to know how much calories you need for the day. You just need to know how much you need to intake. Good with, right? And keep it clean. Yeah. And even if you don't keep it clean I normally used to, like when I'm not in competition mode, like right now, I do it. I always call it like an 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time I eat clean, 20% of the time I have that flexibility to eat what I want. I just don't eat what I want every day on a regular basis, right? Like we hanging out, we say, hey, we about to go out, we about to go do this. Because I'm not in prep mode for competition, I have the flexibility, like, hey, we about to go out, we're going to drink, we're going to do this. All right, cool, I can do it, right? But no, come the next day, I'm back on track.
Back on it.
Right? And that's the same thing people have to do is like, hey, I'm on a flexible. I can eat clean all the time. Or I can do 80% of the time. Family want to go out and have a family dinner.
Right.
You're not feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, give you that flexibility where you don't feel like you're just a robot.
Yeah, you can go out and be like, hey, I want to go eat some, hey, you like pasta. Hey, go out and eat pasta, you want this and that, right? But you just make sure that you don't do it every day. Because then it defeats the purpose. Because it takes 3,500 calories to burn one gram of fat. All right. So if you think about it, right? So if you say, okay, I'm 1%, so you say my body fat is 36%. Hypothetically speaking, technically that's obese.
Yes, chunky
fat. That's fat. Let's put it where it's at. You're fat,
that's
right?
Fat. Yeah.
But in order for you to drop that weight, right, you have to be in a caloric deficit that we were talking about earlier. So that means you need to lose at least 500 calories less per day for 7 days, and then you can at least drop 1 pound of fat.
So sometimes, that's a fact, because sometimes people, for instance, with cardio and playing basketball, people drop weight, but it's not necessarily fat.
It's not.
You can drop water weight.
They drop water weight. They drop the muscle.
I can tell you
when
I was fighting. Back when I was fighting in Maine, I had to drop weight to make weight, and I walked around at 185. And I dropped weight down to 171 in a matter of a couple of weeks. And then by that night I was fighting, I was already up to 180.
Oh yeah, you're gonna put back up.
Yeah, it's all water.
Yeah, it's all water and carbohydrates, stuff like that. So you just swole.
Yeah,
pretty much. That night you just swole. And it's the same thing for bodybuilders. When you look at bodybuilders, you're like, man, that man is huge, right? But most bodybuilders, like professional, right, heavyweights, they walk around 290, 300 plus.
These guys are huge.
Off season.
Yeah, they're huge.
Right? Come competition time, they drop down to 270, 260. Right? He's like, how the hell you dropped to 260 and look the way you look? Because that was just all muscles, right? But they have to weigh in. So they get as lean as they can to meet that weight requirement.
Right.
Once they meet that weight requirement, that night they go back to eat whatever the hell they want.
They blow up.
They blow up. They get back. So if you put them back on the scale the next day, they probably at least 10 pounds over.
Right.
But that doesn't count anymore because they already weighed in.
Yeah.
It's like boxing. Once you get that, hey, I met my weight, right? Yes.
Right.
But it's just one of those. That's water weight, and that's what the idea when they always tell you try to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week naturally. Right, like that's normal, right? Because you're working out, you're doing what you need to do, you're watching your diet. It's gonna help you lose that weight. Most people want to get that quick, fast. Oh, hey, how can I lose 10 pounds in a week?
It's not realistic.
Here's how you can do it.
Yeah,
It's
just
realistic.
It's
just
you can make it, right? You can lose 10 pounds in a week, right? Because I've done it, especially in competition. You can do it, water weight and everything like that. You can do it because you're gonna starve yourself in a sense. Like you're not gonna eat a whole lot. You're gonna drink more water because you're gonna push it out. Right? It's gonna help you get leaner, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's that weight gonna stay off. And the goal is for everybody keep the weight off.
Right, and the other part too about the losing weight, people just say I want to lose weight, but what they really want to do is lose body fat. You know, you can lose weight, but lose the muscle too.
Yeah.
You know, eat enough protein.
I call those
enough.
skinny fat.
Yeah, skinny fat. Yeah, you can be skinny fat.
Skinny
Man.
fat. You know, most people don't realize it because back in the day, right? Way back, caveman days, right? Had survival mode, right? They don't know when the next meal coming in. So what the body does?
Serves.
I'm gonna store this fat because I need it for certain things because you have organs in your body that requires that type of stuff, right? There's 3 main sources of energy, right? Carbohydrates, fats, protein, right? Well, if the body's already storing fat, you're not getting enough carbs. Where they gonna get the energy from?
Right in the muscle. Good
So they're
protein.
gonna break your muscle proteins down to calories. So that's why you start losing muscle mass. The best ones I can use is look at marathon runners.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Name one solid like jack marathon.
You won't find
It
one.
won't even look right.
It won't look right.
None.
No.
Right? Because they run so much, their metabolism is through the roof.
Yep.
Right? And what they're eating not coming enough, so they can't build the muscle that they need. So their body always be eating at it. So that's why they always look skinny. Look anorexic almost. Right?
Yeah.
So they never do it. But if you look at a track athlete, like a sprinter,
Jacked.
right?
It's fast
Except for
twitch.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, he's unique.
I mean, but he's what,
He's
6'6"?
an anomaly.
Right? He's an anomaly,
6'6"?
right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
6'6", but he's an anomaly. Because if you look at most of the runners, they got like the jack
Jack
quads.
quads,
and
yeah.
They just
Everything.
like, bro, you've been lifting like your
Yeah.
whole life or something. Right?
And they're using different muscles. They're using
And
their
short
fast twitch
fast
muscles.
twitch,
Yeah.
just continuous. You know what
It's
I'm
like
saying?
hit training.
Yep.
It's
burst,
it's
stop.
really like hit training. Yeah.
Restart.
Yep.
Burst, stop.
Stop,
Yeah.
right? And that's just how you have to look at it. That's why you have people that are, you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen guys in the gym, and they're like, oh, I don't need to lift. I'm always going to be this slim. I'm like,
No.
but you're not healthy.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people equate a good physique to a healthy body. But last time you see somebody say, hey, I got a 6-pack, I'm ripped up, my cholesterol is too high. You don't look at those numbers though. A complete panel of health is what? Blood pressure, maybe your hemoglobin, your cholesterol, your resting heart rate. You don't look
Triglycerides,
at that
all
stuff,
that, yeah.
though.
Yeah, you have to look
You
at
look
it.
at
Most
aesthetics.
people don't. Most people just be like, oh, well, you got a 6-pack, you should be healthy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
And I,
it's
shit,
true.
I use myself as an example. I have no clue. We've been running this test all the time. My blood pressure's high. Right? But people look at me like, bro, the pretty much what they say, okay, the symptoms
Right.
for high blood pressure be like, oh, well, you're either obese, you don't work out enough, you do this and this and that, right? Well, if you look at me and you know who I am,
Right.
that stigma don't fall because I'm always working out. I watch what I eat. I do this, I do that, I do that. And they be like, well, what's the issue?
Right.
That's why sometimes people have to do more research. How's your kidneys? How is this? You know what I'm saying? Now, your blood cholesterol. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like, are you stressed?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's a huge thing. We come back to where it's like spouse. If your spouse is not on board with what you're doing and you're stressed out, on top of going to work, and you're stressed at work, that's going to also mess up your whole, you know what I'm saying, health.
Yeah.
Right.
Both mentally and physically. It's going to mess that up as well. So you have to pay attention to all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like for me, God, thank you, Jesus. I might be stressed because everything else came back negative.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, all right, I'm gonna still keep doing what I'm doing, working out, staying on top of stuff, staying consistent, doing what I need to do to make sure that part of my health I can control. Right? Stress, I'm working on that. You start trying to stress me out, I'll just cut you off, keep you moving.
Gotta go.
Cut it, keep it moving, right? Snip, snip, all right, catch you later, right? And that's just how we do it, just trying to make sure it happens itself, right? But when it comes back to, like I said, really back into like the meal prep business that I do, right? I have a few clients, and I do mostly word of mouth. They pass it out and stuff like that, and I prep everything fresh, and then the customers can pick it up or I deliver it to them. But it's within a certain radius, right? I'm not driving all the way to Orlando, that's not happening. But, within like, my couple miles radius, I'll make sure I drop it off to them, that way they can have their meals. And I've had a lot of people tell me like, hey, since I started working with your meals and doing the other part, because just eating alone, it may get you to a certain, like, you drop the weight a little bit, right? But you also got to balance it out with your exercise, right? As well as rest. So you put all three components together, you're going to be successful.
Nice.
Some people do one of the two, and they wonder why certain things are not working for them, or whatever the case may be. You got to kind of combine all three, right? Now, as a competitor, one thing we're going to always sacrifice: sleep. Because you're getting ready for a show. And we do what we call 2 days. Get up early in the morning, either doing cardio, working out. Then you turn around in the evening, you're working out again and more cardio.
It sucks.
Right? So you sleep, it's like you pretty much eat, sleep.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's a job.
Repeat. And then you turn, if you got a regular job.
Regular job, and then obviously you start scaling back your calories, like it starts to hurt.
Oh yeah.
It starts to hurt, man. Those last few weeks.
Oh yeah. Peak week.
Peak week is the worst. That is the worst.
Yeah. So as a casual viewer of the bodybuilding competitions, right? And I'm sure most of the audience might not know, but like the tanning process. Do you need to lack a certain amount of melanin to get that spray?
All right,
on?
okay. I'm glad you asked.
What is it for?
Okay,
like, what
I'm glad you asked.
For them beige brothers out there.
I've been seeing some of these dudes. I'm like, what the hell? Why you look like that, bro?
So I'm glad you asked, right? So when you're on stage, right, you have the lights shining on you, right? And you have the judges looking at you, judging you, stuff like that. Majority of the time is you blend in with the light on stage if you don't get that tint, because you want to bring out your definition to show off, because it's a bodybuilding fitness competition. So you want to, it's basically pretty much the best physique gonna win.
Accentuation. You're trying to accentuate your muscles as much as possible.
So if the judges can't see it, right, they can't judge it right. So that means you could have the best physique on stage, but if they didn't see it, you're gonna get marked down on points. And then you'll get off stage, and then later on that night, you'll be like, well, why didn't I win? I look better than everybody else on stage. You'll be like, yes, you do. But from the judge's point of view, I couldn't see it.
But even black people get the tan.
And even us, men of color, melanin, right? We have to get it as well, because even us, we still drown on stage, because sometimes we'll put like oils on and stuff like that. We're not really shiny, but you're not really showing the muscle. So they do the tanning and everything like that. So it's not just one particular race that's getting the color. It's everybody.
Well, Hakeem put on tan to come to Tampa, so.
Well, he could get that natural tan that's going to lay on St. Pete Beach or Clearwater. You can good to go. But
not enough sun in the world.
Not enough.
You're lucky I'm hungry, all right?
But for you, like I said, most people wondering why are people talking about tanning. It's not tanning like, oh, I'm getting darker just so I can go to the club or something like that. No, it's just based on getting judged.
Now, is it the same? Is it the same material? Is it the same tanning stuff that they use?
No,
it's something different. It's something
it's called mocha.
They have different color, different levels of colors, right? Yeah. Obviously, darker you are, you probably need a different type of tanning, right? For the melanin focus, right? Because we do like, then when you go to certain shows, you can do it yourself, or most shows will hire someone there to do professional tanning for you, to eliminate all that. You know what I'm saying? And they'll spray it on, and they'll say, oh, we'll do 2 coats of tanning, right? And you look and you be like, I don't see nothing. They be like, don't worry. As it dries,
you'll see
it gets darker.
Yeah.
So you wake up the next day, you be like, oh, okay.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And if you sweat, it turns green.
So
you got that cheap stuff.
Green?
Yeah. If you like water hits, that's why they say if your first coat, you don't take a shower.
Yeah. So that's why when you go, like for instance, if you're competing, right? Let's say you get on stage tomorrow, right? Yeah. They'll tell you to make sure like a couple of days prior you wanna shave, right? Especially legs, back, stuff like. Especially if you have someone that has more hair or whatever, you can either do nair like women will do, or you just shave, right? And then you exfoliate a couple of days out. You don't want to exfoliate the day before, because the tan and all stuff may irritate your skin.
The pores open.
So you do that, but when you go, you want to be smooth. Everything is good to go, but you shower before you go.
Yes. That'd be the last
because
shower.
after that, you ain't showering. Because if you shower, you're washing the tan off.
Wash it off.
Right? And then you defeat the purpose of putting it on in the first place.
Yeah.
Especially y'all on stage just stinking.
Well, no, not necessarily.
No.
Right? Not necessarily now. I got to defend the folks defending, right? I'm defending y'all. Not necessarily, right? Now, I'm going to say everybody don't have BO.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what you can do, 'cause obviously you can shower, like I say, armpits, stuff like that.
Like a whole
I
bag.
recommend get like the clear coat deodorant that's gonna show when you on stage, not the white one that's, you know what I'm saying? Put a little bit of that on, everything like that. Or you can, what I would do, I buy like the Dove spray. The spray, you know, deodorant sprayed on it, that way it doesn't, you know what I'm saying, show or mess up the tan that's there. That way when you on stage, you're good. Now, I hate doing 2-day shows. 2-day shows meaning you compete, you get on stage today, right? You get off, they be like, all right, cool, see you tomorrow for finals.
Yep.
Oh, next day.
It's usually the same day.
Yeah,
It's
the
usually the, it's
One day
usually the
show is
morning,
what you
yeah.
love because you
Yeah.
get on stage in the morning or a certain time for
Yep.
prejudging. You get off. They tell you come back this afternoon for finals.
Yeah.
You get back, boom. They do whatever. They present
Yeah.
trophies, wherever.
Yeah,
You can go
yeah.
wash your ass,
Yeah.
go eat. You go do whatever. But when you're doing the 2-day shows, you can't go
You
eat
gotta stay in that.
because you got to stay on prep mode, right? And then you also got, you know, what the good thing is most of the time they will offer tanning the next day.
Yeah.
So you get on stage, you get off, you go shower. Come back later on this evening, they'll do another tanning for you. So tomorrow when you get back on stage, you're good. So you're not wearing the same tan for 2 days and not washing your ass for 2 days. So you're gonna be on stage just like, man. Granted, at the same time, if everybody doing the 2-day show and everybody on stage funky, then everybody gonna smell the same shit. So
Yeah.
you might just be like, well, we good.
We all good together.
Right? But for the most part, no, you won't smell that as well. Even though as much as it sounds like, damn, y'all just had it on for the night before, ain't nobody showered or anything like that. It's just more so you get like, some people say, hey, I got it down at 11 o'clock at night. And they get up at not 8 o'clock in the morning or 7. And showtime starts at 8. And you're back on stage and you just kind of like have that day, you do whatever you need to do,
Yeah.
you go rest, you put your feet up, you do whatever, and you come back, finals. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, and most people ask this question. They said, what do bodybuilders or physique competitors and all that stuff do post-show?
Eat.
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 If you do a poll, the number one answer is going to be eat.
Yeah.
Unless they have a show following up like maybe a week later or 2 weeks later. So they'll go eat something small. They have a treat meal, but nothing huge. Now, if you ain't competing after that for a little bit, oh, you're going to pick out.
This is a cheat. This is literally a
No,
cheat.
it's
not a treat. This is going to be a cheat.
Treat. It's gonna be a cheat.
For real.
This is how y'all
Because
gonna go
like
in.
what KB was saying, like that last week, peak week, like you're eating plain chicken, like boiled chicken, you know, veg, like there's no seasoning,
You can put pepper on it.
but no salt,
No salt.
no salt. You,
No
I mean,
sodium.
but most of the time it's plain.
Yeah.
It's just plain food for a week.
And you just wash it down with
Every
water.
meal,
Drink a lot of water.
and you're drinking 2 gallons of water. Then you start scaling your water back the closer you get, because you got to get tighter. But I'm telling you, by the time you're done with peak week, you're going to want to eat something just
So
off the
most people,
wall,
when they
sugary.
finish-
Like,
because you got to think about it. For your whole prep, right? You're depriving yourself of certain things that you like.
yeah.
If you were sweet, if you have a sweet tooth, you'd be like, man, I ain't had no pastries, no cake, no nothing in
Weeks.
6 weeks,
Yeah.
8 weeks, 12, months.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd be like, all right, when I get off stage,
I'm going.
I'm gonna have that whole cheesecake ready because
Yeah.
I'm about to take the whole pie. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, look, I like pizza. That's me. I'll be like, look, let me get that large because it's about to disappear in like 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So people have certain things that they look forward to, right? So they'll get off stage and they go eat. The only drawback is we call that a rebound, right? Now, remember now what you did the whole time, right? You cut your sodium. You were just increasing your water, your stuff like that. So a lot of minerals you was not taking in. What does sodium do to the body?
Bloated.
Right? It makes you retain water, right?
That water in.
So now imagine you go eat certain things that's high in sodium. And then you remember now, for show day, he'll attest, you're dehydrated.
Yes.
Because you're keeping your body, you want to keep as tight as you can, so you're not drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
Right? So now when you get off stage, you say, hey, you know what? I need to start rehydrating my body back up and build it back up. Right? So you start drinking water, just drinking. Now let's say you ate sushi with the highest, soy sauce, the sodium content. So now your body retains the water because it's not when you push it out. So now you just bloated. You feel like a pregnant chick,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But that sucker hurts.
Yeah.
Because now you can't sleep because you just discomfort. You can't sleep on your stomach. You can't sleep on your side. You can't even sleep on your back. You just in a mess because you ate too much.
Yep.
So what we call that, you have to eat in reverse, right? So you still kept your healthy meals. You just slip in a certain treat that you like. You keep it going. The next day you do the same thing.
So you introducing.
Yeah,
So
you just
slowly.
Don't
Just introduce it all at one time, because if you do that, like I said, you're gonna bounce back. And I can attest. I'll tell you right now. I went from, and this is something that you'd be shocked. I went from 205 to 240 in less than a week.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, you was bringing in a bunch
In
of
less than a week, right? And it's not just water. Like once I got off stage, I was like, well, I'm done. I ain't competing for the rest of the year. I'm good. I'm gonna eat whatever is in sight, and I would just eat. And the body was just retaining everything. Next thing you know, I was like, man, I did. Literally, you saw me on stage one day. I had a 6-pack that was super tight. Next day, I ain't got none.
Yeah.
No.
And you be like, bro, didn't you just get off stage like a few days ago? You be like, I sure did.
It's crazy how
spray
the
paint.
body.
Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Photoshop.
It's
Red
crazy
photo.
how
I knew
the
he was
body
lying.
switches,
Photoshop.
man.
It switches big time, but at the
Yeah.
same time, that's not good for you. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you do reverse.
You get sick. You
Yes,
get
right?
really sick.
You get
you know.
real sick, and that happened to me. I did my first, the show that I was in Stuttgart. I did that show in
who's that one?
Stuttgart. I got off stage. I went to Donor Shop. He ordered them donors.
Oh,
Chicken
donors,
was all-
man.
Yeah.
Talk
See,
about
we could-
soda.
That's
I
right.
had soda.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I had donuts.
So
Listen,
good,
I had
though.
donut, right? I also had pizza. I also had McDonald's. I had fries. I had look.
Everything.
This is that same night. Some other folks I knew, they made like pastries.
Oh,
So I had
yeah,
pastries, this and that. So I had like a whole
Platter.
5-star setup,
Yeah.
right? I'm eating. Man, I could not sleep that night, whether it was on my stomach or my back. I couldn't. I was so bloated, like my stomach felt like it was gonna explode. I felt like I was gonna die. I was like, man, I called medical the next morning. Like, look, man, I need to come see y'all.
You didn't
Right.
vomit. Nothing, you didn't vomit nothing.
No, I didn't vomit, but I felt so
Like you
bad.
needed
that
to?
I needed to
Yeah.
go to medical.
Yeah.
Right? But once you start scaling back on certain things, and you be like, oh, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Start taking, like, I always tell people, make sure you get laxatives, make sure you get like these bloat, you know what I'm saying, to help you out. That's going to give you that relief that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right? One thing I always tell people, like, Pedialyte.
Oh, to keep you hydrated.
Electrolytes.
To rehydrate you.
Pedialyte, right? So when
Yeah.
people get off stage, because they already dehydrated themselves, right? The first thing they think about, let me go drink water. You don't need the water. You need them electrolytes and all that stuff to rebuild. So we'll get you a bottle of Pedialyte and have that with you. So as soon as you finish, you start drinking that to help replenish the nutrients and all that stuff that you've been lacking.
Yeah.
Because if not, you start drinking just water, you're gonna retain that. You're really gonna hurt. You know what I mean?
So last question. What's the what's like the ultimate goal? For instance, like I know the pro card is huge in the community. You know, there's a lot of people that's like their end goal. But once you get to that, then what?
Okay, so I will talk about more general, like competitors itself, right? Most competitors want to get their pro card, right? Because pro card, once they get the pro card, they can compete at the pro circuit. That's where you can make more money, right? At the amateur level, majority of the folks competing does not make money. You pay money, you just don't make.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You got to pay tanning fee, you got to pay registration fee, you got to pay your coach if you have one.
You got to pay to compete.
So you got to pay to compete, and if you win, cool. You get a trophy, you get a medal, you get this, right? But you have the amateur level, you have the amateur show first. You got a national, which is a qualifier for pro. If you win or you place top 2, whatever, depends on the show, you get your pro card. Then you can compete on the pro level, right? Now, based on how good you look and how well you do, that's when you start bringing in that money in your pocket. Because now you start getting advertisement, now you start getting contracts with folks. Say, hey, I need you to endorse this product, right? Just like any actresses or whatever, you start endorsing a certain product, they'll pay you, right? Now you have like a protein company say, hey, we'll sponsor you. We'll pay for your show prep, we'll pay for your hotels, we'll pay for your flight to go to your shows, we do all that stuff. So now you're kind of like seeing the results of that, right? So people will do that and then start getting paid from it. Ultimate goal, you want to get paid, right? Some people use it as a platform to have their pro so they can show, they can start doing like meal prepping, coaching, stuff like that, right?
So
Like
they
stamp.
can
Get
build
that
a
stamp.
business.
So they can build a business from it.
Yeah.
Because now, if you're looking, like we all visual creatures anyway, right? So if you say, okay, why should I take you on as a coach? Here's my resume. I'm a pro. Okay, cool, got you. You gotta look good to be a pro, right? And then you look at your physique and stuff like that, and be like, okay, cool, I can take your work for it. Cool, I can work with you. Now, let the cat out the bag. Pros have what? Coaches,
Yep.
right? So a pro has a coach
Yes, they do.
to get them to where they need to be, right? So he'd be like, well, if you have a coach, then why am I need to listen to you? Because
Right.
your coach got you ready. Why didn't you do it yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all levels, but
It's levels. There's levels to it.
I guess
right?
a novice would.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't know that.
But you
No.
still
Most
want
people
someone to
wouldn't know
pull
that.
something out of you.
Yeah, because somebody gonna bring something. It's just
Yeah.
like, for instance, even me. Like I help people with prep and all that good stuff, right? At that a certain level, to get you to get me to that next level. Because if you're prepping for yourself, right, you tend to manipulate your prep.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're like, well, okay, if I ate this burger and it's 1,500 calories, maybe I can finagle my plan. I can work this out where I can be like, all right, I'm gonna put it in my plan. Versus if I hire you and I paid you $1,000 for this print, I'm not gonna bullshit.
Mainly it's
I'm losing my money.
It's accountability
Yeah,
too.
it's
It's accountability because I know what you
It's a
mean.
big
I mean,
accountability. That's what it is.
After going through my show, do I feel like I could go through my own prep? I probably could, but how strict would I stick to that plan versus
Because
paying
there's no
somebody
accountability.
$1,000 and I'm like, and I'm sending them progress
you gotta
pics
do progress
every
photos.
day. You know
got
what I
skin in the
mean?
game too. You gonna
Yeah.
wanna do better.
Yeah,
You got
like
money.
it's just different. It's different when you got somebody literally critiquing you, like, all right, you definitely bullshitted this week. So we're gonna.
Because you look at your, especially like I said, when you have your plan, the coach sent you, and your training, and you sent him your pictures from the start, and then you send him a week later, and he knows if you stick to the plan, you already should have been in a deficit. You should already be losing weight, but you sent it back and you look bigger than you're supposed to be.
Yep.
He'd be like, okay, so you didn't stick to the plan, huh? Like, what did you eat? Stuff like that. Let's be 100.
Yeah.
Well, coach,
I had some gushers.
And you know what?
I had some
You know what's
gushers.
beautiful about that? What's beautiful about that when you're getting ready for a show, and I know you can definitely attest to this, KB. You can't hide that shit.
It's no hiding.
There's no cheating.
It's
You
all out
can't
there.
hide that shit. Like, there's no excuse because if you stuck to the plan, you
Look a
will.
certain way.
You will look a certain way. It's not like you might look this way. No, like you will look a certain way by this time.
So genetics don't kick in for that kind of.
So the genetics can get, like, you ever hear people say genetics will get you to the table. Work ethic gonna get you over the top.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you look good, right? As genetic wise, right? But when you get to the competition level, right? You look good, but then he look good, but he also has a tight, shredded physique where you go over here holding water, you that this, and they be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because they gonna look at you like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, and you be like, man, I just didn't peak, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now we in here have a tight physique, and we look at you, but like, nah, it ain't that you holding water.
Yeah, but I'm asking.
See, so genetics,
Stick to the
yeah.
plan.
So I got you. So genetics. So look at it like this: genetics will play a big part if you're powerlifting. If you're a powerlifter and you got good genetics, you're just a strong fucking dude. Y'all remember Derek Mcgee?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
He's
still- yeah.
still
Mcgee.
powerlifting.
I mean, that's the homie.
I call it
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah, so we got a homeboy from Germany. He's probably what 6'2",
No,
2.
No, he's
5'11".
about
He's
6
like
foot.
5'11" with 6 foot.
Yeah, maybe 6 foot.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe 6 foot.
Like 210, but he looks
210.
bigger than me.
Yeah.
He looks
Huge.
big and is
Strong.
strong.
Not only that, he
Like,
got
we're gorilla
in a
strong.
motorcycle wreck. Couldn't
Oh
lift.
yeah, I forgot.
One of his legs
Yeah.
got super skinny, and now it's back like he never. Now he's deadlifting like
600
6, 7
pounds,
plates on
squatting
the-
over 500. That's genetics. In physique, like physique and men's bodybuilding, it's like you said, that hard work is what's going to take you to the next. You can just tell those that cheated and those that didn't. It shows. Like genetics, genetically, you might be bigger than me, right? But I could still have a better physique than you in the end if I stick to the plan and the
that's
diet.
the beautiful thing about it, because no matter who you are in the game, almost like jiu-jitsu, like it's an even playing field.
Yeah, it's an
If
even
you
playing
keep working
field.
go forward, working, for jiu-jitsu is technique. Doesn't matter if you're bigger or stronger. You can tell who's really focused on their craft.
Yeah.
Same thing with bodybuilding. If you stick to the meal plan, if you stick to that hard work and you dedicated,
It's about staying, like, the end part of it.
Yeah.
Committed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You have to stay committed to it. If you don't, and you be like, oh, I'm going to do, like, for instance, if you on and off, this week you be like, I'm going to hit it hard. Next week you be like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to chill. Right? But if you have the man over here doing it every day,
Bro, it shows.
every day, like he's in there doing his cardio, eating right, doing everything like that. You're 1 week off, he's already a week ahead. Right?
It
And you do it
shows.
again, so now he's just getting ahead and ahead. So now, I always tell people, for me, when I'm competing, when I'm 30 days out, I need to look like I'm getting on stage like in any day now.
Yep.
That's my mindset. That's why I stick to it, right? So by any day now, they be like looking at you like, man, when's your show? Well, I'm still 30 days out.
Yeah.
They be like, word? Like you look like you're supposed to step on stage tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I know I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm lean, I'm tight, I'm shredded, I'm start getting vascular, start doing certain things. Now, if I'm at 30 days out, and they be like, all right, so how many weeks are you out? Because you already know, you be like, man, I'm slacking. But at the same time, you should already be within yourself, knowing that you weren't doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be honest with yourself.
It shows, man.
Because you know, coaches will tell you, like coaches, like you said it, like few things that'll happen, right? Like if I'm coaching you, and I say each week send me your progress pic, and this week you didn't send me no pics, right? Right? I'm gonna be like, okay, he fucked up, he slacked off, so that's why his pics look worse than it did last week.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what I'm saying? So I already know one. Or you be like, hey man, I forgot to take my pics last week, blah blah blah. Okay, so you forgot to take it on Sunday. What happened on Monday?
Yeah.
The week you can still send some pics in on
Don't
Monday.
let it happen on Monday.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So you can tell, coaches can tell, and they can look at because coaches compare.
Yeah.
Because the goal is, okay, if I'm putting you out there, because as a coach, right, you are my marketing,
Yep.
right? So you go out and you compete. If you look really good, people gonna be like, well, man, who was your coach?
Yep. That's
I
it.
am, because he got me where I need to be.
That's it.
Right? So if you don't look right, it's a representation of me.
Yeah.
Right? Granted, I can't hold you accountable because you just didn't do what you need to do. I'm like, you know what, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But if you take it seriously, you start prepping, you start doing what you need to do, you go out, you prep, you're gonna see that physique that you be like, man, I didn't know I could look like this.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what I was saying in the beginning, it becomes addictive. Once you see yourself in a certain realm, you be like, that's me for real.
Shit.
Like, six pack, you know, back looking all chiseled and all that. You be like, well, I can do this, right? And then goes. It's like I said, it ties all in full circle because, like I said, when you're on stage and you have people like, man, you look good, no homo, but that's not in there.
Yeah.
They don't say that part because you already know what they mean by it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you looking real good, and this comes from another man compliment you, say, hey man, you look real good, and there's nothing else attached to it besides just admiration.
Just giving you props.
Right?
Yeah.
Just giving you props.
Because they know what it took
to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it's that realm that is females. Like, you go in there and you females, like, compliment each other. Like, girl, you look good. Your butt look nice, this and that. But there's nothing sexual about it. It's just more so, hey, girl, you looking good. And it's more so like, man, I need to get my game up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with guys. You in the competition, you on stage, you got like 15 other guys. Everybody trying to get number one spot. Everybody, right? But it's like when you walk in and you're the alpha in the room. And everybody else is just there. You can walk in because when you walk in, you already start sizing up your competition.
Yep.
You walk in and you be like, I got you beat. I ain't worried about you. I got you beat. Damn, them all look good. I'm gonna have this is gonna be who I'm gonna be on stage with. This is who I have to battle with on stage.
Yep.
So when you get on stage, you already know who your competition is gonna be.
Yeah.
Because you're based on what you brought to the table.
Yep.
Now, if you came in slacking, then you be like, man, everybody look good because you already know you slacking.
Yeah.
But if you came in, you looking right, you on point, then you look around, you be like, all right, I got one competition. Your coach gonna ask you, everybody else look.
Yeah.
Man, coach, there's one in here that we might be 1 and 2. I don't know how they're gonna put it, but it might be 1 and 2. And so when you get on stage, you gotta showcase everything. So that's why when the coach said, hey, look, this how much water you gotta drink. That's what you drink.
Yep.
You sip on that little bit of water, you're like, that's it for the day.
Yep.
I'm not checking anything else. Most people be like, oh, I'm gonna go drink this, I'm gonna go eat this. And you be like, nah, I'm cool, I got my meals.
Yep.
Over here eating rice cakes.
Yeah.
And peanut butter. Be like, yep, that's all I'm eating today. Oh, water, that's it. Because that day, it's either you bring your best or you going it's like what we call a spillover. Right? You can eat carbs and get tight, full and everything like that, but if you eat a little bit too much, then you start looking soft in the middle.
Yeah.
And then be like, damn, you're gonna hurt your chances.
And it shows. And that's the thing.
Science is
the science of it is crazy when you're looking at. I mean, because you're looking at someone that's walking around with like less than 5% body fat.
Yes.
At a minimum. I mean, it's the percentage is so low. You know what I mean? Like 1% can kick you out of the competition. Not only that, but you're posing. You can have a nice physique. Your physique can look better than mine to a certain degree, but I can pose better than you and win. So you have that aspect. It's showmanship. Yeah.
So it's just more so a lot goes into competition. When you compete.
It's so fun though.
In the world itself, you have a lot of people that wants to compete, and they use it as they checking a box. Like it's on my to-do list. I wanted to get on stage and compete. I did it.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong with that, because you have to train. You have to put your mindset into the prep mindset, so you kind of have more appreciation for what
I was gonna say, but do you appreciate the journey?
Yeah.
Right,
100%
and you
glad I
understand,
agree.
like you understand that dedication.
I understand
like,
how it was so hard. I never do it again.
Yes,
exactly.
for me.
Some people are like, nah, that's it for me.
I
can't starve myself for a
I'm
week
too
or 2
hungry.
weeks, whatever.
It's tough.
Right? It's not for everybody, and that's understandable, right?
Yeah.
But you still respect the game.
Oh yeah,
because you see, you like,
you
man,
know.
I know exactly what they went through, especially when somebody like, man, it's peak week, don't bother me. You know, so you're not gonna take it personal because you already know, hey, it's peak week. Oh yeah, no carbs, no this. They deprived. They still got to do their workouts. They still got to do this. You know what? Do your thing.
Oh yeah,
leave you alone. I'll holler at you when you finish, because I already know that you're not thinking straight. You already, you're agitated. You know, you're gonna get pissed off if somebody be like, if you're at home and somebody left a cup on the table. It might piss you off, like, man, who left this cup? A cup. You know, pick them up and put it in the sink. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those, because your mindset is not, your mental state is not there, because you just out of it. You like a zombie. If cheekbones start something, you start losing that body fat around the face. There's a lot of people leave. Like, I remember when I was in Dias, one of my chiefs saw me, and I was like literally peak week. And she saw me, and she's like, Sergeant Burnett, I don't like how you look. And I was like, why? She's like, yeah, I can see the cheekbones and stuff like that. She's like, what is your show? And I was like, man,
that was just like what was old boy in Germany? His name started with a K.
Kai, like
you trained him.
Oh, Kelly. Yeah,
Kelly.
That's
my dude, man.
Yeah. I just talked to that
cool
cat,
man.
Yeah.
I remember when he got ready for his show.
Because he was doing the one in England.
Yep, and his peak week, man, I saw him walking through the hospital.
Remember.
His damn face. I mean, he looked like a skeleton in the face.
Yep.
Body was, on point. It's the face. Like when you start losing that.
He transformed.
Oh man,
no way.
He's huge.
I didn't know you trained him.
Yeah. I remember.
It's good work. Because he came to me for his first show, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And the thing is, once you have those folks that's willing to listen, they're gonna transform faster than someone that just be like, I'm just, you know what I'm saying. He was like, hey, I said, look, here's your training. This is what you need to do, this and that, and then he be in the gym. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Dude,
all of a sudden,
he talking about an average looking dude.
You know what I'm saying? He started doing it.
It was like,
he stuck with it, because even after competition, he started doing it. He actually is a personal trainer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I just spoke to him a few days ago.
Because he started doing
powerlifting. He started doing. The only reason he stopped, he got hurt. He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. But he was getting strong.
It's like you'll see a lot of those success stories out there, where people one of those you be like, man, I ain't never saw you. If you ask most of my folks when I was stationed in Okinawa, or even mine out in North Dakota, they'll tell you like, KB, nah, I would have never saw him that big.
Yeah.
Because they were like, that boy was like looking like the lampshade over here. Just, you know what I'm saying? Always running up and down the court, always is moving. Yeah. And they're like, look, he went down range, came back, they're like, that boy was swole.
Yeah.
And like I said, once you see it, it becomes addictive. You're like,
it's a beautiful change.
I want more of this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful change.
I like this, so I love it.
So wrapping this up, what's like one takeaway you want to leave the folks that's listening?
Okay, it's a few. I mean, one of the takeaways I would say for anyone out there that's trying to go on a fitness journey, right? And the key word in there is journey, right? It's not a sprint, right? It's not a sprint, so you're not going to see those results overnight. Take your time, stay the course, right? Now, where people go wrong is we're human. You're going to fall off of that wagon from time to time, right? So instead of beating yourself up and just keep going down that path, shake it off and get back on that horse, right? Just start back over, pick up from where you left off, right? Because like I said, it's a journey. It's not a sprint. Your end goal, keep that in focus. So if you say, I want to drop 20 pounds, it takes you a year to get to that 20 pounds, it's still that 20 pounds, right? It's not like overnight. Yes, you're not going to see it overnight. Some people want to do overnight. Now, if you want to use something that's coming up more recent as a tool to get you to that 20 pound, like for instance, you say, hey man, I need to fit in this dress in 4 months. because I got a wedding coming up that I need to be a part of. Then that's something that you can use as a motivator, right? But once you get there, don't just stop.
Yeah.
Maintain. Now you don't have to work twice as hard just to get into that level because you maintain it. Yeah. Because you hit the goal, but now you say, okay, well, I'm here. I look good. I like how I feel. I fit in the dress, everything like that. Don't just go back into your regular lifestyle, because then you're gonna have to work just as hard just to get back to where you at. Yeah. So don't do it just for the moment. Do it. Make it for a lifestyle. So always make it for a lifestyle change, no matter what it is.
Cool.
And find a motivator. Find a motivator. Meaning, if you're not gonna do it for yourself, if you have kids, you want to be around long enough to see them go to college, play with them, do certain things, then do it because of that reason. Because in that way, it has a meaning behind it, not just, well, I just want to drop 20 pounds. Okay, cool. Are you working towards it or everything? But if you say, hey, I notice every time my kids say, let's go outside and we want to run around, and I'm like winded in like a minute. Now you can use that to say, you know what, I need to get to where I can go run around with them, play ball with them, shoot with them, do this, and be there for the long run, not just temporary. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Cool. Appreciate it.
What you got, Jason? What
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna be long-winded or anything. Just make a decision to make something happen. If you're in a physique where you feel in a certain kind of way, you're not in shape, make a change. I don't care what it is. Pick something small. Stop drinking soda, for a week. Yeah. If you win that, try not drinking soda for 2 weeks. Just pick some kind of change you can make that's small and repeatable, and make that part of your habit. That's all I got.
you got, King?
I would say if you're thinking about doing a competition, do it. Don't talk yourself out of it. I know I've spoken to a few friends and coworkers that have thought about it in the past, or for whatever reason talked themselves out of it. Like it's an amazing experience. Like I said, it's very cohesive environment. Just do it. Get a good coach, and stick to what the coach plans for you. Meals, workouts, and you'll love that end product, and you'll love the journey and the experience.
All right. And all I have is announcement. I'm going to compete sometime in this summer.
With Coach KB, you got him? Yeah.
I'm out here, 6 months in Tampa with the great KB. So I'm still on, it's one of those things, man. I've been talking to Hakeem and Jason about this for the last, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It's just, and I'll be honest, I'll be one of those guys that'll be on my bucket list, But, I came to the point where when I look at people compete and look at, IG posts, I'm like, man, I know if I'd worked hard, my physique be just as good as that. But now I'm just sitting here in Tampa with nothing to do, 6 months, no excuses, where it's like, all right, well, let me get disciplined and test my limits and see what I can get out of it. So, I'm gonna link up with KB, hiring him as my coach, and basically be posting the progress. So, y'all
hold him
look
accountable.
out. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we appreciate y'all listening. Thanks for dropping by. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, and let me know what y'all think. We out. Thanks for coming through. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content. Also, ensure that you like us on IG. And also, you can listen to the audio version on all streaming formats like Apple and Spotify.